All right. Good afternoon to all of you. Now, I
Good
hope a
afternoon,
lot.
sir.
Manuja,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. Madhubashini. Right. So let's take a start. And we have to do unit 25. Right? Selection and use of supplementary material and activities. This is the one we have to do, right? Gimhani?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Madhubashini?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So let me get my pointers. Selection and use of supplementary material and activities. Now, supplementary material is the one which we use when there is a kind of problem with the main material which is provided to you. So we supplement that. We replace some of the areas sometimes, or sometimes for a change also we give supplementary material. And there are different activities we add to the main course. Why we do that? Because to give a variety in our teaching, sometimes some topics might be difficult in the main one. So then we find some supplementary material and some different activities for that in order to keep the interest of the student in the topic and in order to make them understand in a better way. How do we select and use supplementary material and activities? Supplementary materials are books and other materials we can use in addition to the course book. So that's what is the purpose of it. Supplementary material, one is consist of the books and other materials, like there might be some worksheets, some charts, okay, some puzzles, games, different other things might be there, some quiz test and all these, which we do what? We can use in addition to the course book. Course books are already available. In addition to that, we use these ones. They include skills developing material, like reading, writing, listening, speaking skills, how to develop that, different type of activities in that. Grammar, vocabulary, and phonology practice materials. Collection of communicative activities, teacher resources, and web material. So in this supplementary, web is actively used. From the web, you can download different material to supplement in your main course. And teacher resources, in the school, they provide to the teacher package there, in which you have the course book, you have the additional material is mentioned there, the teacher guides are there, or sometimes it is called teacher booklet. So these sort of things are available, and all these we call it in the supplementary material. Supplementary material may also come from authentic sources. Authentic sources being used so many times, and you know what authentic sources is. Newspapers, magazine, articles, videos. What is authentic sources? Authentic sources are which are not for the teaching purposes, which are commonly for the information purposes or entertainment purposes in the social life, like newspapers, magazines, articles. They're not for the teaching purposes in the classroom. But we bring that to the classroom in order to give the real life language experience to the student. We bring that to the classes, and moreover, to put give a variety in the teaching and the learning. So we add those sort of things. So authentic materials are also used in that. Some course book packages include supplementary materials and activities specially designed to fit the course syllabus. Now, in some of the institute in the schools, already they have prepared supplementary material, which you get along with the main course book. Why? Because they know that these are the things are used. So already they provide there, but not necessarily in all the institute or school it might be. So the teachers can get it by themselves by looking for these sort of things. Like you can go to the library, you can get the reference book from there, you can download the worksheet from the Google, different materials. So you can, if it's not available, you can have your own pack of the supplementary material. Right. The course book syllabus fit. And websites, there you can download supplementary material. We select supplementary materials and activities first by recognizing that we need something different from the material in the course book. What we do with that, something different from the course book material, which is provided in order on the same topic, that is supplementary material. Okay. We use supplementary material and activities to provide something that is missing from the course. Sometimes there might be certain things which are missing and you want to give additional or more information on that topic, which is not available in the course book. So you find that in the supplementary material. Find that how it not necessarily that what the pack is given to you, it should be there. If it is not there, you can get it from the reference book in the library. You can get it downloaded from the web and fulfill that requirement, which is lacking in the course material, main course material. To give learners extra practice, we use for that also. Not necessarily there should be something missing in the main course, but there might be you want to give extra practice to the learners because in the course book, that much practice is not available on that particular topic. So you want your student to do a little bit more extended exercises, activities on that topic. And when it's not available in the main course, then you supplement it with the supplementary material. Or just bring something different to our lessons. Or sometimes not for the extra extended activities, extra practice, or it's not because something is missing in the course, okay? But you just want to change, a little bit change in the normal routine of teaching. So give them some a little bit in different ways, some quiz, some game to relax them also. And they refresh their mind towards the learning the same topic in a different way. So all these reasons and what supplementary material is and the reason why we are using and what it's supposed to do and what are the forms of it, all these are here. You can separately make notes of it, okay? Key concepts. Now, there are various reasons why we might want to use supplementary material and activities. Some of the main reasons are as follows. Number one, to replace unsuitable material in the course book. There are suitable, not necessarily that in a course book, whatever it is given, according to your students' ability, that is all suitable. There might be some which may not be suitable to the learning style of your students. So you supplement that, find different things on the same topic to teach that same topic in a different way. Which is not in the course book that available that particular way. So you can find some other kind of sources on the same topic to teach that to the student. Number two, to provide material missing from the course book. Sometimes they have not included some very basic thing you need which are not included. They have started from the intermediate. So then you can find that as a supplementary material and provide it. To provide suitable material for learners' particular needs and interests. Sometimes students, their needs and interest, they want to improve a particular skill. They might be interested in improving their spoken skills more. then it's not that much spoken practice is available in the course book. For that, you add some more additional activities as supplementing that in order to provide them, because that is their need and their interest is more in that, and in the main course it's not available. So in that case, for particular needs and interest also, you provide supplementary material to give learners extra language or skills practice. And sometimes the practice which is given in the main course book is not enough for them. They need some additional practice. For that reason, you try to get the supplementary material or to add variety to our teaching. The teaching should not be in one style, it should be in a different ways. So always one way of the teaching, students get bored with that. So in order to add variety in it, in order to teach the things in a different way, that might be the reason. So these are the points which in the top first paragraph we discussed that, and then here they have put in the points form. But you have to keep in mind and make your notes accordingly. Right, any question regarding this? Any question? No, only Madhubhashini thumbs is coming up. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what is in the next one. Course books are organized according to a syllabus. They are often carefully graded. Graded mean grammatical structure, vocabulary, skills, and are presented logical and clear sequence for learning, so that learners' knowledge of the language builds up step by step through the book. The books, if you see, they have stepwise, according to the different areas to be given to the student, they have organized the books, you know. Like if you check the grammar one, it will start with the parts of speech. It will start with the kind of nouns, pronouns, and likewise it will be going ahead to the tenses. And so logically from the basic, it goes gradually up. So that's how these are. So that learners' knowledge of language builds up step by step. And what happens with that? Stepwise, logically connected steps, the students, they follow it up and they build up their knowledge in the language. Supplementary materials and activities can provide variety in lessons and useful extra practice, but they are not always graded. Now, this is what one difference here you see. The course books are graded. Why? Because course books are compiled by the some language experts such in a way that they have provided after some research on it with the kind of experience, and they know that at this level things should be taught to them in this particular sequence. So they arrange the course book material graded in that particular way. So this thing towards the supplementary material, they are not graded in that way. Nobody arranged the supplementary material. Supplementary material you will find on each topic, variety of supplementary material will be available on the website. That is not graded. So the teacher is supposed to see which supplementary material need to be added where. Why? Because the course book one is logically connected. Topics are there, stepwise guiding the student, but supplementary material you get completely open. And then you have to do the selection out of it, how to suitably put that at which topic, at what time, and how it has to be done. So that decision have to be done by the teacher. Is this point clear to you? Right. So the point is, supplementary materials are not graded as compared to the course book material. So it is important to make sure that we choose the right material and activities at the right time. The right material and activities fit into learners' program, are suitable for the class, and match the aims of the particular lessons. Here are some of the possible advantages, disadvantages of using various kind of supplementary material. Now we will go to the various different kinds of supplementary material, and we will see what are the advantages and disadvantages of these. Because whenever there is something good in something, always there is a negative aspect of that as well. So nothing is total 100% good in the life. The same is in the teaching or in the social life, and nothing is 100% bad. We all are a combination of good and bad. Right, Gimhani? Right. So now we will see supplementary material, class library of readers. Possible advantages. Class libraries, mostly this is available in the primary school. You might have seen in the back, they have a small library where they have kept. Sometime in the upper also, they have the class library, which is a kind of small one compared to the main library for the whole school. Now, what happened? Possible advantages. Encourages extensive reading. Extensive reading is when you want to learn something carefully, understanding it. Remind yourself the skills of sub-skills of the language when we were doing extensive reading, intensive reading, okay? Reading for guest, right? Extensive reading or reading for pleasure. So extensive reading, sorry, not word by word. Extensive reading is for the reading for pleasure. Intensive reading is for word by word understanding something. Sorry, I put it wrong before. Number 2, gives learners confidence. So allows learners to choose. When you have a class library and you have different books there, and those books are just two story books might be there, some kind of fiction might be there, some kind of pictorial stories will be there. And what it encourages reading for pleasure. And when the students, they read different books other than the course book, they build up confidence. Okay, then we can read it, you know, and they like to. I was also very much keen in that, not understanding the book completely what they are, but going to the library, issuing the book, and 2-3 books I'm keeping in my hand and coming and feeling very pleasure, like, you know, I'm going to read this book and keeping that on my table. So it just gives a good feeling of that, as a student, I can read these books also, not only the textbooks also. That's what is the feeling. I don't know whether you people have personally done this sort of thing when you were a student. But I have personally done. I used to withdraw the books and take it and just was feeling good about it. Not understanding the whole thing, what is mentioned there, but just keeping it, you know. So those feeling was, so this is what they are talking about here. That kind of thing you feel allows learners to choose, like you're free to choose whatever the book you want out of that. Possible disadvantages. Need for range of levels to suit different learners. Now, there are different learners, different types of, so there should be whether the levels are there or not. So that's not sure. Why? Because they have not put according to the level of the students. They have just collected, okay, these books are for the extra use they want. Content may not be motivating for older learners. If there are some mature learners, they may not be motivated by that light kind of topics discussed in those books. Anyhow, next one is skills practice books. Skills practice books is for reading, listening, writing, or speaking. Focus on individual skills out of it. May not fit course book syllabus. So there might be some books on the speaking, but that is not necessarily that spoken regarding the spoken English, what the books are available in that. It is matching suitable will be for the course book. Definitely it will not, because it's supplementary. So it's not necessarily that the whole thing, But maybe some of the activities out of the spoken one will be able to replace or give an extended exercises for the student in speaking while teaching the main course book. So advantages, disadvantages. Just see that sometimes these disadvantages are not that much, but they have just found something. Teachers resources books, downloadable worksheet. Now, possible advantages, new ideas for the lesson. When you have different worksheet, so for the same lesson, you have different approaches. May not suit lesson aims. Now, lesson aims are different. We did that. That is particular thing you are teaching. Now, depends whether the downloadable worksheet which you take exactly it is supplementing and it gives help in understanding the main aim of the topic or not necessarily. So sometimes you may give relevant kind of activities but not exactly relevant to the whole topic or the aims of it, but just to give a little bit relaxed kind of exercises. So that's the drawback in it, that it may not suit the lesson aims. Okay, but it is good that to give new ideas. So that's the possible advantages and disadvantages. Websites, variety of lesson plans, teaching material, other resources. So if you see web, it's full of all the material. And sometimes it's so difficult for you to do the selection that which material, because each website, when you click it, tons of notes and topics it opens to you. Right. So particularizing that what's needed is sometimes difficult also from the web to find it out. Next, disadvantages, what comes in it, sometimes difficult to find the right material for the learners. This is what I told you. Some may not have enough computer stations. Learners may not have computer skills, like when they want to go to the website, so may not be that much availability of the computers that all the students should go and check that on the web. Okay, so these kind of thing can be disadvantage. DVDs provide visual context, source of cultural information, show body language. When definitely when you watch videos, so you visual context is clear to you. Now, what would be the probable disadvantage of it? Equipment may not always be available. DVD player may not be available. Somebody else might be using it or something. You know, language may not be graded suitable for the level of the learners. Now, it's obvious when you are going to watch a video, so that language spoken over there and the practice which is going on, it may not suit the way it is with the graded course book, because they are generally talking, and so all the language, the way it is in the course book, it may not be suitably adjusting with that topic. Right. Language practice book. Extra practice, learners can work alone without teachers' help. Language extra book, if you see, sometimes they have the workbooks, okay, activity books along with the language, which is, or they sometimes they call it student book, where they do the exercises. And so what happened there, learners can work alone without teachers' help in the activities book. What might be the disadvantages? Repetitive exercises. Exercises they might have done in the main book also, and those exercises might be done again there. Later on, no context. Sometime in the activities book or student book, the exercises which they do, context is not available, and sometimes a little bit is given as compared to the main course book. Electronic materials, like you are using some technologies like, you know, computer or projector or these sort of, you know, so it gives motivation, right? The children take interest to see that these equipments are used in their teaching and classroom. Familiar technology for learners. Right. So disadvantages come what? Students get familiarized with the computers, with the microphones are used there, or if the DVD players are used there, or if there is a overhead projector is used there. So when the children are adjusting the lead, this thing, those, so they get familiar with those things, that these are also used in the classrooms in that way. So that point is there. Disadvantages, what would be? Difficult for teacher to control how learners are working. A little or no human feedback. When the students are engaged with the electronics material, all that, so it's difficult to monitor who is working what and how. Why? Because they are not paying attention to the teacher to one point, then they are individually working. So monitoring will be a problem in that, and feedback also, because it will take a lot of time if you are going to see how each one child is doing and the use of those things. Games, enjoyment, language practice. Whenever games are there, students, they like it a lot. They like it. Students like anything other than the study. So you put into the puzzle games or whatever, they like it if you are not teaching the main thing to them. So enjoyment is there, language practice is there in the games. What are the possible disadvantages of it? May not be suitable for older learners. Older learners who are mature, they may not interested in doing games in the classroom. Preparation may take a long time, especially when you are going to do a game in a classroom. So you have to make them understand, you have to arrange the place. So preparation may take time. Classroom management may be complicated. And when they are doing the game, so they might be shouting, screaming, running, all this. So the classroom management thing not possible at that time. So this is how they have given possible advantages and disadvantages regarding the supplementary material. What are you supposed to do in it to make your notes about it? DVD using, what will be the possible advantages? What is that thing should you need to know, examination point of view, okay? So because they may ask you question in different ways, advantages and disadvantages of the supplementary material. Is this clear? Right. Okay. Fine. So let's go next to the key concept in the language teaching classroom. Selection, supplementary material and activities. Get to know what supplementary material are available in your school. Use observation or questionnaires or interviews for analysis of your learners' needs. See page 78. At the beginning of the course, to find out what you will want to add to the course book when you're planning your scheme of work. So get to know the supplementary material. Whenever you are going to teach in an institute or you are taking a class, you need to know what are the other things available along with the main course book in the school. Supplementary material, as a teacher, what are the things you get it? Are you going to get it your pack, or you are going to share it with some other teachers? So what are the things other than the course book available in the school? And how to analyze that what's needed in the supplementary material for your student, that you can find out by observation of the students when you are teaching. Okay, they need this sort of thing, extra activities they need. Or you can make a questionnaire in which you find out about their language skills and level. By giving them, they will give you the answer, so you will understand this thing they know, this thing they don't know. So accordingly, you can provide and find out material, supplementary material for that. Or interviews or analysis of that student by talking to them and find out what's their language level. So this you can get into this point to see what is needed for them before planning your scheme of work. Okay, that a particular topic need to be taught along with what type of extra material. Next one is supplementary language practice material are not usually accompanied by teacher's book. So when it comes to the supplementary material, you do not have a teacher book for that. Why? Because it's not properly compiled. It is supplementing the main material. For the main material, you will have a teacher guide. but not for the supplementary material. And the aims of some activities may not be clear. So there, the clear idea for you is not there. Sometimes it is mentioned that these activities can be used for this sort of thing in the classroom. But sometimes only a topic and activity will be there. It will not mention that where you have to use this activity in the classroom. That's you have to find out by yourself, that where I can put this activity, because it may not be guided there. Some material and activities may look very attractive, but they may not be appropriate for the. Sometime when you see an activity will be very much nice, organized. Okay, so you feel like, okay, this activity I want to take and add in that. But actually, what would be that material, that activity will not be at the right level, stage or level of the learning have reached. It might be very nice looking activity. Yeah, this nicely, they are telling that this thing to do. Okay, I would like to do this activity. But it may not be suitable for the level of the student, what your class is. Okay, so it's always important to think about exactly how supplementary material will replace or improve on material in the course book. So always it's up to the teacher to see which supplementary material is suitable and which stage they need to add in the main course. It may be useful to use authentic material, as we discussed before, which is not designed for particular level, in order to give learners the experience of working with more challenging texts and tasks. So because authentic material like magazines and newspapers, they are not designed for the teaching and learning purposes in the class. So it gives more challenge to the student to understand that language, right? So it's better to add that in your class. The activities and material designed to develop individual skill often include the use of other skills. For example, learners need to read a text before they carry out a listening task and do something writing and follow-up activity after speaking them. When selecting material and activity, it's important for us to think carefully about all the skills and then require learners to use. Individual activities, which are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. One activity is connected with the other activity, like you do a listening part. Or after the listening part, you ask them to write the summary of it, what you heard about, or what are the particular things you heard in it, write it down. So writing and listening, they do at the same time. Or you do a reading activity. They read something and then they have to discuss it. So the speaking one is connectedly done with that. So that's what they are talking. You can do two different activities in the skills or three different activities. By practicing one skill, you can do another skill practice as well. Many publishers produce materials for practicing separate language skills at different levels. Teachers' resource books too usually list tasks and activities according to level. Before we decide to use these materials, however, the first step is to consider how appropriate the level is for our learners and to think about the language they will need in the understand and to produce. So in the bottom line is, whatever we talk about, the supplementary material, the course book, the selection of that depends on the decision of the teacher. And the teacher decision is based on by knowing what's the need and interest and level of the student. According to that, see in which topic of the main course, what type of supplementary material, at which level of difficulty it has to be added there. Okay, so ultimately it comes to the decision of the teacher. Right, use of supplementary material and activities. Learners get used to the methodology in their course book. If we are using supplementary material with procedures that are different from those used in the course book, we may need to give special attention to the instruction. So methodology, the way we teach that learners usually they get to know about that, okay, the course book in this way it is taught. So they get that methodology. But when it comes to the supplementary material, that is, I told you, it's not organized topic wise, everything is different and there is no proper procedure for that. So the instruction giving to the student, how to do it, it has to be given very carefully because the students are not used to that. So when you are giving an activity, you have to give them clear instructions how they have to do that. All right. Next one, we can adopt many supplementary material for use when classes at different levels, the texts used in these material may not be graded, but we can grade the activities by making the learner's task more or less challenging. Now, second thing, supplementary material, as we talked before, they are not graded. So what we can do in order to meet the levels of the student, we can make it more challenging or we can make it more easy. It depends. If it's very hard, so okay, give a kind of not very challenging task to be done in that activity. Like listening part is there, for example. So there is a hard kind of, there are 4, 5 people are talking, but your student cannot figure it out very easily. They are not at that level. So you can just give that, okay, what each person is talking about, not particularly what they're, just generally. This person is talking about what, this person is talking about what. So easy kind of thing. Rather than to get the information what they are talking about, particularly what he says about this one, what other person say about this one, that will be a little bit difficult. All right. So likewise, teachers can make the activities more challenging at times when it is needed for the student, or if a challenging activity is there, it makes it make it more a bit more easier for them than the way it is. So this is up to the teacher to decide, and they can do these variations, not to just stick to whatever is given. Okay, this is what we have to teach. Games and extra communicative activities can provide variety and make learning fun. But unless we think carefully about our reasons for using them, our lesson may not have a clear purpose. Older learners especially may want to know why they are doing these activities. Now, whenever it comes to the games, older, mature students, they're not that much interested in doing the games. Adults, professionals, they don't like that much. They want information more. They want to utilize that class time for kind of to gather more knowledge. So you have to be careful that whether the learners are interested in doing the games or not. The needs and interest analysis of the learner is must. Can you hear me? Gimhani? Gimhani, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. There was a disconnection. The light went off and then came back. Right. Darshini, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
It was clear.
So the next point is in mixed ability, mixed level classes. Mixed ability mean one child is more able than the other. Some have, they are good, some are in between, some are not so good. So different types of mixed ability students are there, and mixed level class. One where learners are at different language levels. We call it mixed ability or mixed level. If the material in the course book is too easy or too difficult, for some of the learners, supplementary material and activities can also help to provide appropriate material for different learners. This is known as differentiation. Differentiation is when there is a variation in the levels. Okay, we can give different tasks to different groups, pairs, individual, which are more suited to their level. Now, when you are selecting the activities, so when you know that your class is not the whole at one level, so from the same activity or different types of activities you select on the same topic, some of the activities you select a difficult one for those whose level is high. For those who level is low, you can select the activities which is a little bit lower one. Or the same activity also you can make challenging for those who are good at that. Okay, you find this thing out of it. And the other one, group wise, you change it. And the other one, you do that, okay, a little bit lower type. So adjust that according to the level of the students. And that is called differentiations. Is that clear at this point? Usually we don't do that, right? We don't do usually, we don't adjust the activity according to the different levels of student in one class. We usually give one activity for all. But they suggest to adjust it or find the different activity on the same topic and divide the class such in a way that the one who are quite good, a little bit challenging one, the one who are not so good, a little bit easier one. Okay, that's what they suggest. It is up to you. This is just a suggestion, but for the examination point of view, you need to keep that in mind. We may need to input new vocabulary or language pattern before we can use supplementary material or activities. We just need to make sure our students have the language they need to make the best use of material or activities. New vocabulary input, language patterns, that's we need to give them always when we want to add a supplementary material activity, like what type of language you can use this, what are the new things you can use with this, and before introducing that. Teacher input in the language is always needed. Just don't let the student to go on with whatever the language. Always give them something new. Okay, this expression, use it. This phrase, try to use it. This new vocabulary to use in this activity. Okay, why? Because they will become familiar with that. Moreover, they will have variety in the language use also, not using the same vocabulary for different things, the same expressions, the same phrases. They need to add variety in their language. All right, is that clear? So that's it for the Unit 25. And we will have a break, and then we are going to start the Unit 26. All right? Is it okay, or do you want to do it next week? Give me your response. Do you want to do it next week, or shall we take a break and continue with the Unit 26? So we will finish Module 2. Wait, I have to stop recording.